We begin today the Gemara on Daf Ayin Daled Amid Aleph at the Mishnah. Zog Teilige Mishnah. Harei ze gitech. Person gives his wife a get and tells her, "This is your get. Amenas shatitn li masayim zuz," with the condition that you pay me 200 zuz. He doesn't want to make it easy for her to be divorced, so he makes this condition. Harei zu megareshes. So she's divorced. V'titei. She has to give that money to him. If he says the condition is you have to give me the money and he sets a time, you have to give it to me within 30 days. So then, if she gave him the money within those 30 days, she's divorced. If she gave the money later, she's not going to be divorced. Rav Shimon ben Gamliel says, there was an incident in Sidon. A person told his wife, "This is your get. Almenas shatitni li itztalisi," on the condition that you give me back my coat that you have. Now what happened was, va'avda itztalisai, the coat that she was holding for him or was his got lost. Now she can't fulfill this condition. The Chachamim said that to fulfill this condition, you don't have to actually give the coat itself if she doesn't have it. What titla is the ma? She can give the money, the value of this coat, and she'll be divorced. Okay, the Gemara here will ask, the Mishnah brings this incident, this story doesn't seem to be connected to what it said before in the Mishnah. The Gemara will add in over here into the Mishnah, as we'll see. Okay, Zak the Gemara, Mai Vitite. It said in the Mishnah that you make a condition that you give me 200 zuz, she's divorced, and she has to give this money. So what does it mean that she has to give this money? When does the Gittin take effect? Rav Huna says, Vihi titin, and she has to give the money. Now what this means is, that really, she's divorced right away. When a husband says, Areza gitech almanas, the term almanas means that you should be divorced from now, but it's just a condition that you have to fulfill later to give the money, but really the divorce takes effect right away. Rav Yehuda says, no, likeshatite. This expression of almanas means that you're only going to be divorced when you give the money. Until then, there's no divorce b'chlal in effect. Says the Gemara, "My benayu." So what's the difference between them? Ikke benayu. The difference is sheniskara haget oishavad. If the get was torn or lost by the time she came to give the money. So Rav Huna Amar vihitite. Rav Huna says that she gives the money then, and ain't tzrichei menu get sheni. She doesn't need another get because that's it. The get was already, she divorced from before. She just has to fulfill a condition now. But the get is not taking effect now. You don't need the get in existence now. Rav Yehuda says, Likeshatite. Likeshatite means that over here in this case, if she's giving him the money now, and there's no get here, tzrichei menu, get sheni, you're going to need a second get. Tana nami, now the Gemara brings...
You don't have to even kind it tonight in order to be...
Correct. The divorce, but emes takes effect right away. But emes says, even according to Rav Huna, if she's never going to end up giving the money, then retroactively it will uproot the divorce. But now her status is that she is divorced, and she has to give the money later, right? But the status right now is that she's divorced. We don't need the get in existence in order for her to be divorced when she gives the money.
Not after both.
Again?
Not after both. Not after Yehuda.
I'm explaining Rav Huna. Tana nami. Now we have the same kind of a Mishnah with the same achloikis gabi kiddushin. When it comes to a kiddushin with a condition, kai gavna, same thing. It's nan. We learned there as follows. So, a person says to a woman, "Harei mikudeshesli, you're married to me. Al menas she'etin loch masayim zuz." On the condition, besides this pruta that I'm giving you now, I'll give you 200 zuz. Harei hi mukudeshes. She's mukudeshes. V'yite, and he has to give her the money he promised her. On this as well, Vitma, we learned, my v'yitein. What is the meaning of v'yitein? Rav Huna Amar v'hu yitein, that the husband has to give this money, meaning the kiddushin took effect right away. And later on, he has to give the money. Rav Yehuda says, likesha yitein, there is no kiddushin in effect at all. She's not an eshes at all. When he gives the money, then the kiddushin takes effect. My binayu. So again, the Gemara says here, what would be a practical difference between Rav Huna and Rav Yehuda? Ikke benayu, the difference would be shapashta yada the kibla kiddushin me'acher. After she got the kiddushin from the first husband here, and he made this condition and he did not fulfill the condition yet, she went and she got a kiddushin from someone else. Rav Huna says v'hu yitein tno ba'almahu. The v'hu yitein is just a condition that he has to fulfill later. Mikayim Tnoi Vazal. He fulfills this condition, whatever he wants, and goes. Meaning that the second condition she got is worthless. She's already married to the first one. Rav Yehuda, Rav Yehuda says, Likeshayiten. Likeshayiten means Lichiyav lo Hudav Kiddushin. Only when he gives the money, that's when the whole Kiddushin comes into effect. But Hashta Lehav Kiddushin. But now there's no Kiddushin yet, so she's going to be married to the second guy. So we have over here two Mishnayos that are saying the same exact concept regarding a Tnai, and by get and by Kiddushin, and the Machlokes of Rav Huna and Rav Yehuda. So the Gemara says, we need both of these Mishnayos to say the same halacha. And the Gemara is going to explain both of the Mishnayos, both according to Rav Huna and according to Rav Yehuda. Because the Yashmin and Gabi Kiddushin, according to Rav Huna's interpretation. So what does Rav Huna say? That she becomes divorced right away, the Kiddushin takes effect right away. That was the Chiddush of both of these Mishnayos, and you just have to fulfill the condition later. So if you would say this halacha by Kiddushin, I would say as follows. Here, Rav Huna says that the Mishnah is telling you, Vuhu Yiteng, that the Kiddushin does take effect right away, and he pays her the money later. The reason is, Mishum de Lekruvakasi. Over here, he's interested in getting close to her, and he's interested in being married to her. So therefore, the understanding of what he said, Al Manas, he didn't mean to delay the Kiddushin to later. He wanted to get married to her, so therefore we understand that he meant to say is, I'll be married right away. And the money he'll pay later. But by Gedishin, where he's getting divorced from her, and the assumption is that it's not such a difficult thing for a person to separate from his wife. So over here, when he's setting this condition, maybe that's just sort of delaying it. And so therefore, maybe here Rav Huna would agree to Rav Yehuda that when he makes this condition, his intention is that the Gedishin should not take effect until that Tanai is fulfilled. On the other hand, via Shmir and Gabi Gedishin. If the Mishnah here would say this halacha only regarding Gedishin, that the Gedishin does take effect right away, and you just have to give the money later. So then there's a svara to say fakert. I would say b'hakam Rav Huna. Over here, Rav Huna said that the Gedishin does take effect right away, and v'hi titein, and then she'll pay him the money for this condition. And the reason why we say it that he doesn't mind if the Gedishin takes effect right away is mishum d'leikasef l'mitzvah, because the nature is the husband is not embarrassed to go and demand the money that she owes him. So therefore, he doesn't need this Gedishin to be held up as an assurance that she's going to pay him the money. He's confident. Let the Gedishin take effect right away, and he'll make sure to demand the money from her later. But when it comes to Kiddushin, where the husband promised to give her money, so the nature of a woman is she's embarrassed to come and demand from her husband the money that he promised her. So maybe over here I should say that Rav Huna agrees to Rav Yehuda that she's thinking to herself, if Kiddushin is not going to be held up until he gives me the money, then I really have no way to get my money from him. So therefore she does not want this Kiddushin to take effect until she gets her money. So even though the husband may want it to take effect right away, as we said before, the svara l'kruvakasi, but the Kiddushin has to be midaita as well, and she doesn't want it to take effect until she gets the money. Otherwise, she's not going to be able to demand the money anymore. She's embarrassed. So, maybe here Rav Huna agrees to Rav Yehuda that it does not take effect right away. So this is the reason why we need both of these Mishnayos according to the interpretation of Rav Huna. The Gemara is going to explain the same thing now, similar thing, according to the Pshat of Rav Yehuda. If it would only tell me the halacha, the Mishnah by Kiddushin, and how? Now, this is according to Rav Yehuda's interpretation that says that the Kiddushin does not take effect until she gets the money. So I would tell you, over there, Rav Yehuda said that it only takes effect when she gets the money, because she's embarrassed to collect the money from him. So this is the only assurance that she has that she'll get the money if the Kiddushin is not in effect until you give the money. By a Gedishin, the husband's not embarrassed to demand the money from her. Over here, when he said Almanas, it doesn't matter to him if it takes effect right away. He's confident that he'll collect the money later. So maybe he agrees to Rav Huna. On the other hand, according to Rabbi Yehuda, if the Mishnah would say the halacha by Gedishin that the Kiddushin takes effect only when you give the money, I would say over there we delay it and we say it only takes effect when you give the money because it's a divorce. So the assumption is he doesn't want the divorce to take effect right away. It's hard for him to divorce his wife. So there, when he said almanas, he meant that only then should it take effect. But by Kiddushin, since he's coming to marry her, he's interested in getting close to her now, I would say he agrees to Rav Huna that it takes effect right away, and you just have to give the money later. Therefore, we need this Mishnah to say, we need both Mishnayos, both according to Rav Yehuda's opinion and Rav Huna's opinion, to explain that the halacha is the same by both cases. So the Gemara now brings the Shaila on Rav Yehuda's opinion. Again, Rav Yehuda holds that the Kiddushin or the Gedushin only takes effect later. So Meisvei fragt the Gemara, there's a brayse that says clearly as follows: this is a get with the condition that you give me 200 zuz. Even if the get got torn or got lost, she's going to be divorced right away. But she should still not get married to anyone else unless the money is going to be given already. Why? Because what happens if in the end you never end up giving the money, so then retroactively the get will be bottled. Right? So here you see, this is the point I mentioned before, that even if you're going to say that the get takes effect right away, but she still shouldn't get married until she gives the money, to be sure that there won't be a problem with this get. Okay, so this is, but on the other hand though, it clearly says in this brayse, like Rav Huna said, that really the get takes effect right away. She's Mugareshes. She has to give the money later, but she's Mugareshes right away. Tanya, we have another brayse. The husband says, this is your get with the condition that you give me 200 zuz. Umeis, and now he passed away. So Nasna, if she gave him the money before he passed away, Eina Zakukala Yavam. So she does not need to do any yibum. If the husband died without children, so then I'll say that the get took effect, so she's divorced, there's no yibum. Loi Nasna, if she did not give him the money, Zakukala Yavam, she's going to need yibum because there's no getter. The get was only with the condition that you're going to pay the money to him, and she didn't give him the money before he died. Rav Shimon Gamliel says it's not too late. She can still now give the money to the one that inherits her husband. Who inherits the husband if he has no children? Either the father or a brother or any of the other relatives that is inheriting it. And even if you give the money to one of those relatives, it's fulfilling the condition al manasha titni li. Li means not only me, also to any of the relatives. So now the Gemara explains. What do we see here in this brayse? What is the argument here between the Tanakama and Rav Shimon Gamliel? Ella, only this one point here. The Mar Sovar, the Tanakama holds li. When he made the condition, you have to give me this 200 zuz. It meant me, only the husband himself. V'loyla yarshai, not any of the inheritors. But Umar Sovar, Rav Shimon Gamliel says li v'afiluli yarshai. Li means that you can give the money to me or to my inheritors. But v'kula alma miyeh to no have. Everybody agrees that when he says, give me the money, it's just a condition, but not that the get takes effect when the condition is fulfilled. Because if you're going to say so, then it's a get lacha misa. It's impossible the get is only taking effect when she gives the money after he passes away. There's no get after misa. So you must say that the get takes effect already from before. Elamai, the argument over here is, could you give the money to the relative to fulfill the condition or not? But really, the get already took effect from before. So this is the question of Yehuda that says that the get only takes effect when you give the money.
But in all the cases, if the condition is not going to fulfill, something's going to happen. So in time is kind of a problem.
So again, Rav Yehuda holds that until you give the money, she's mamish a full eshes ish. When you give the money, that's when the get takes effect. Rav Huna holds it works the other way around. His kavana was she should not be an eshes right from the beginning. Condition is a condition. If in the end the condition is never fulfilled, it will come out that retroactively there was no getter. But when you fulfill the condition, what really happened over here is that she was megureshes from the beginning. Right? That's what you see here in this brayse. There is a Tosfos later that spells out that even according to Rav Huna, you're going to have to say that it's like in this time period, she's Mugareshes, Veina Mugareshes. It's sort of a suffix, a sof. Even Rav Huna agrees that if you never end up giving the money, she's not going to be Mugareshes. But the Gedushin took effect before. If you don't fulfill the condition, it's Mevatel, that Gedushin that took effect before. That's how Rav Huna looks at it. Okay, so the Gemara says, Tiyufta de Rav Yehuda, this refutes what Rav Yehuda said. We see here that the Gerish takes effect before. Amalach Rav Yehuda, so Rav Yehuda will answer you, it's a machlokes tanoim, Hamani Rebbehi. This brayse here is following Rebbe's opinion. The Amar Rav Huna ma Rebbe, Kol ha'oim almanas. When a person gives a get and he uses the term almanas, what does the almanas mean? Ka'im machshav dami. He means to say that the get should take effect now, and the condition you fulfill later. That's Rabbi's opinion. But upligi Rabbanan Allah. However, the Rabbanan argue on Rabbi, and the Rabbanan say almanas means that it should only take effect when you fulfill that tonight. And so Rabbi Yehuda says, I follow Rabbanan. The Rabbanan say that the get only takes effect later. Now the Gemara here does not bring a clear source where you find that Rabbi and the Rabbanan argued about this. We'll see soon a Braise where Rabbi and Rabbanan argued in a different case. But first the Gemara brings that Rab Zayda here said that Rabbi and the Rabbanan actually never argued about such a case regarding Almanas. Rab Zayda said, Ki yavinan bebavel. When I was in Bavel, Amrinan ha-adam Rav Huna. So I also held of this that Rav Huna said, that Rabbi said, that the term almanas means that the get takes effect now. And pligi Rabbanan aleh, and the Rabbanan argue and say that no, the get only takes effect later. But then, Kisliki, when I traveled up to Eretz Yisrael, Ashkachte le Asi, I found Rab Asi, the Yosef, who was sitting, and he was repeating in the name of Rabbi Yechanan, Hakol Maidim, everybody agrees, Ba'omer almanas. If the husband uses the term of almanas on the condition, when he gives the get, he means to say that the get is chal right away. The only place where we find that Rabbi and Rabbanan argue about a language that a husband uses is this language. Mehayim ula'achamisa. Here there's a machlokes. How do we interpret this? And the Gemara brings the Braise for this, and this was quoted before already. So we learned in the Braise, Mehayim ula'achamisa. He gives his wife a get and says it takes effect from today, but then he says after I die. So what's the halacha here? Get, ve'ina get, divrei chacham. The chachamim says that it's a suffix. What is he saying? On one hand, he's saying it should take effect today. Then he says, Ola'ach hamisa. How do we interpret this? Is the get really taking effect now, and the Ola'ach hamisa is just a condition? Or no, the moment he says Ola'ach hamisa, he's retracting from the hayim. He's changing his mind and saying, no, the get should be only then, so it's not a get. Rabbi says, Kozeh get, like this, it's a perfect get. Because he said, me hayim, we know that that's what he meant, that the get should take effect now. So here, this is the case where we see that Rabbi and the Rabbanan argued if the get takes effect right away or not. But regarding a case of almanas, we never see that Rabbi and Rabbanan argued about this. So the Gemara says, so the Rav Yehuda, the Omar ba'almanas pligi, Rav Yehuda that says that they are arguing even about a case where the husband said the term of almanas, ad mifligi b'mahayim ula'achamisa. So why are they arguing about a case of mahayim ula'achamisa lifligi ba'almanas? Why don't they argue about a case of almanas and to tell me that in such a case of almanas that the Rabbanan passel? So if and then from that I would understand that if in a case where the husband says almanas, it means to say that the get only takes effect then, when the condition is fulfilled, I would understand from this that for sure, if the husband used the term mehayim ula'achamisa, there's definitely a room to say that he meant that it only takes effect achamisa. For sure the Chacham would say it only takes effect then. So why don't they argue regarding the case of almanas, like Rabbi Yehuda says? So Rabbi Yehuda will answer you, the truth is that they are arguing in both cases. They're arguing about the case of mehayim ula'achamisa, and they're also arguing about the case of almanas. The only reason why the Braise speaks about the case of Mehayim Ula'achamisa because it wanted to show you how powerful, how far Rebbe goes with his opinion. When Rebbe says that the get takes effect right away, that's even if the husband used the term Ula'achamisa. It doesn't matter because in the beginning he said Mehayim, it takes effect right away. So this the Braise wants to point out the chiddush of Rebbe's opinion. So the Gemara asks, let the argument be dafka in the case where the word La'achamisa was not mentioned. They only said Almanas. And let it come and let me know how powerful the opinion of the Rabbanan is, that even in such a case, I say that the get only takes effect later. That's how Rav Yehuda learned, that according to the Rabbanan, even in such a case, it takes effect later. So as much as we want to express how far Rebbe's opinion goes, why would the Braise not want to express how far the Rabbanan's opinion goes? And to the Gemara, this is a concept the Gemara says many times, Koyach the Heteira Odeflei. The Braise would rather show you the koyach of Rebbe's opinion, which is being matter here, and saying that the get does take effect. So I want to tell you the koyach of Rebbe, which is heter. Right? When you want to bring out how someone is so confident in his opinion, dafke in the heter, you see that the koyach of his opinion. When you say a chumrah, You could always be saying it because you're just being machmer. Even if it's a suffix, you're still being machmer. When you're giving a heter, especially here, eshes ish, it must be 100%. So here, regarding Rabbi wants to tell you that even if the husband mentioned, still she's 100% divorced. Mahayim means it's from today. That's the koyach of the heter here. Going back to the Mishnah said, if the husband clearly said that this condition, that you should give me 200 zuz, it's within 30 days. So she has to give it within 30 days. Says the Gemara, so the Gemara asks in this pshita, it's obvious, he said of time frame, why would I think she can give it afterwards? Says the Gemara, I would think to say, kapte lav kepeda. When he says this tonight and he sets a time, he's not being really particular about this. Olizar zakasi. So he's only coming to encourage her to give it right away. He wants the money, but even if he gets the money later, he'll be happy. Kamash Malon, that's what the Mishnah is saying. The moment he sets a date, then she has to give it within that time frame to fulfill the condition. The next thing it said in the Mishnah was, so the Mishnah brought a story of a husband that made a condition that you're going to give me back my coat, and she didn't have the coat, and she gave money. And the Chachamim said, the money is as good as the coat. So the Gemara asks, "My tana the ketani ma'isa." What did the Mishnah say before that, in connection to the halacha before, it brings a story about this? It doesn't say anything about that connects to this halacha here. Says the Gemara, you're right. Chesuri mechsere. We have here missing in our Mishnah v'hachi ketani, and this is how you have to learn the Mishnah. Really, there was a machlokes before about this case. Im amal. If a husband makes a condition, he tells his wife, "I'm a nas shetitnli it's the lisi," on condition that you give me my coat. Now va'avda it's the and she lost the coat. It's the lisi dafke kamala. What he meant is, I have to get my coat. That was the condition. If you lost it, no get. You can't give the value of it instead. Rab Shimon Gamliel on this, Rab Shimon Gamliel argues and says, no titan loy is domel. She can give the value. She can give the money for this. Rab Shimon Gamliel says, Maisenami bit Sidon be'echad. So now here brings the story that it happened in Sidon, a raya to his kahala, his opinion. This is what a person said to his wife, that the get is a get on condition that you give me my coat. It got lost. You give the money and that's good enough. Okay, so that's the pshat in our Mishnah. So now here, based on this machlokes, the Gemara has the following shaila. So Rab Asi asks the shaila as follows. Person tells his wife, this is the get, and he makes a clear condition, you have to give me 200 zuz. Then later on, after he gave her the get, he tells her, I forgive you this money. You don't have to give me the money. Mahu, what do we say now? He can't change the condition that he made before. If he made a condition at the time when he gave the get, so that condition remains a condition. But the question over here of the Gemara is, when the husband is meichel, should I say that the mechila is equivalent to receiving it? He's saying that for me it's as if I got it. Should we accept that mechila in that way? So the Gemara explains, Tiboyel Rabbanan, Tiboyel Rab Shimon Gamliel. This shaila here is both a shaila according to the Rabbanan that say that when you make a condition that you want the coat back, you have to give the actual coat. And it's also a shaila according to Rab Shimon Gamliel that says you can give the money instead of the coat. And the Gemara explains, Tiboyel Rabbanan. It's a question according to the Rabbanan. Why did the Rabbanan say in our Mishnah that you have to give the actual coat? Because over here he wasn't meichel. He made a condition, and the condition was very specific. He wants the coat. No money is going to work instead of this coat. But over here, over here he's meichel. Maybe meichel mechila could be equivalent to say, the lashon over here in Rashi is, it's like he said, ki'ilu hiskabalti. Mechila is like saying that it's like I received it already. So over here, the mechila is the fulfillment of the condition. Or the other side of the ibaya, and this would be an ibaya even according to Rab Shimon Gamliel. I feel that Rab Shimon when Rab Shimon Gamliel says that if she does not have that coat, that she can give money instead. She's giving him something. She's trying her best. She doesn't have the coat. She's giving him the money for it. So there I say that's the fulfillment of the condition. But if she's not giving anything, over there Rab Shimon Gamliel did not say it would work. So Eina Mugareshes. Sorry, I read this too quick over here. Avalagamri loy. But when he's totally forgiving, so then maybe he did not say such a thing, and over here she's going to have to give him the money. So the Gemara says that he answered, Omalei. So Rabbi Yochanan answered, Eina mugareshes. She's not divorced. Mechila is not equivalent to a Keilu Iskabalti. Once you make a condition, you have to get that money. You can't just be Meichel later. Eisvei, so the Gemara asks on this from a Mishnah in Masechta Nedarim. A person tells his friend, Kainam she'ata nanali, I make it a neder that you should not have any anah from anything that belongs to me. If you're not going to give my son kor echad shel chitim, a certain size measurement of wheat, and 2 barrels of wine. Basically wants his son to get the wheat and wine that he needs, and he wants to get this person to give it. So he says, if you're not going to give it, you can have no anah from anything that's mine. Rav Meir so Rav Meir says that person the neder takes effect, and he's asked to have anah until you give. But the Chachamim say, this individual could be mater his neder, shalei al pi chacham. He doesn't even have to go to a chacham to be mater his neder. How? Because if he changes his mind, so then he can just say, oh, I consider it as if you gave me that wheat and wine, and therefore the whole neder is off. So what do we see from here? That when he makes a neder with a clear condition, only if you give this, whatever it is, but he can say Keilu is kabalti, and we'll consider it as if he got it and the neder is off. Why over here, regarding a t'nai for a get, do we say that if he's Meichel, that it's not Keilu is kabalti, that it's not equivalent to as if he got it? And says the Gemara, Hachi hashta, there's no comparison here. Hassam, when it comes to a get, or some agayt is the opposite of here. Hacha, over here, when it comes to a get, Litziyuna kamechaven. The assumption is, or Rashi says, there's a chazakeh when a person's divorcing his wife. He's divorcing her because there's a certain fight between them. So why is he setting this condition? He's setting this condition because he wants to dafke stick it into her and make it painful for her. So therefore, if that's what his condition originally was, so he can't change that later and just be Meichel. V'leitzira, just by being Meichel, we can't here say that it's as if he got it. If he got it, she didn't get any pain out of this. V'leitzira, he was not Mitzayah her. So it's not the fulfillment of the condition. But Hacha, over there, by the story of the neder, there's no reason to believe that there's any fight going on over there. Over there, he just had a need for his son. His son needed the wheat and the wine, so he was trying to get this person to give it to his son. So now once he says, Keilu is kabalti, it's okay, I don't need it anymore, so he doesn't need it. If he doesn't need it, so then it's good. So that's considered to be as if he got it already. His whole intention was just to get what he needed. He got it, he got it. So the Gemara brings a story about this. Ahu Gavre, the Amalela Arise. Person said to his worker, Kula alme dalut klas dalvese. All the workers in the field, so they have to water the field during the season 3 times in the season, and va'achli rive. And their payment is they get a quarter of the produce from the field. But now I want to make a different deal with you. Doli arba, you're going to water this field 4 times over here in the season, and you're going to get more. Va'achel tilsa, you're going to get 1/3 of the produce of this field. That was the deal. Now l'soif, what ended up happening in the end? Asamitra. Rain came, and it was only necessary for this worker to give, like everyone else, to water it 3 times, and for the 4th time it wasn't necessary because the rain came instead. So now the person that hired him says, okay, so you only did it 3 times, so I'm going to pay you like everyone else. But the worker is saying, no, but the rain came, and actually your field got the full water that it needed with the rain, and I should be paid the original deal that we made, that I'm going to get 1/3. So Amar Rav Yosef, Holei Dollar. Rav Yosef says, look, the 4th time, the rain came. He didn't have to draw any water to water the field. So he only gets a quarter like everyone else. But Rabba says, Holei Yitztreche. He didn't need the 4th time. The rain already did it for him. So because the field got the service that it needed, it got the rain that it needed, and the water and the rain, so therefore you have to pay him the original deal you made to give him 1/3 of the field. Says the Gemara, Leime, shall we say, Rav Yosef, the Amar Kerabanan. Rav Yosef here follows what the Rabbanan says. What did the Rabbanan say in our Mishnah? You make a condition by a get, you want to get back the coat. So the Rabbanan say that you have to give back dafka the coat. You can't give back anything else. So over here as well, you make a condition that you're going to give water to the field. The fact that the water came anyways in another way through the rain, that's not the same as the condition that I made, that you're going to water the field. So now I'm not going to give you that special deal that I made up with you. But Rabba holds like Rab Shimon Gamliel that said that if you don't have the coat, then you can give money instead. And here as well, even though our original deal is that you're going to give the water, but if the Eibishter gave the water through the rain, that's going to be in the place of me giving it, and therefore I should get the original deal that we made up to get a third. It's a very interesting connection. I mean, the Titus Gittin here, which is the Nesivis, asks on this, it's not exactly the same kind of a thing here. Because here it's rain that came in Hashemayim. And the Mishnah is talking about either the coat or the money, the same value of the coat. Both of them, she's giving it. It's only a question of does she have to give exactly what he said or the money, but in either case, she's giving it. Here, why should I pay you extra if the rain, the Eibishter brought the rain? What did you do for this? Why do you deserve to get paid for this? That's his question. So he says the pshat over here is the pshat over here is that this worker says, look, you know why the rain came? Because I'm your worker. It's my mazel that brought this rain. So I brought you the rain, whether through my work or through the Eibishter, it's my mazel. So that's why you have to give me the payment. That's his pshat. Yiddish cup, okay. So the Gemara answers, there's no connection between these two things. And the Gemara here brings a similar svara to what it said before. Tizbara is this a connection from the case of get to this case of the worker. So first of all, the Gemara explains we cannot say that this is what the machlekes depends on because anytime there's machlekes of Rabba and Rav Yosef, we always paskin like Rabba. Besides 3 cases, but otherwise we always paskin like Rabba. That's on one hand. But Ubaha ein halacha Rab Shimon Gamliel, and we also know that over here in the Mishnah regarding the argument by the get with the coat, we don't paskin like Rab Shimon Gamliel. She has to give the actual coat itself. So we can't say that the two opinions are connected. That Rabba's opinion is only based on Rab Shimon Gamliel. Ella says the Gemara Loilam Kirabanan. Everybody here agrees to the Rabbanan that by the get you must give the coat itself. That was the condition. Now Rav Yosef Kirabanan. So Rav Yosef that says over here by the rain that if you did not give the actual water, so that's similar to what the Rabbanan says that you have to give the actual coat. Here as well, you have to actually water the field. That if it came from rain, that doesn't take the place. But Rabba Malach and Rabba will answer you. Here's the svara that we said before. What I said that the rain will take the place of him watering is even according to the Rabbanan. Because why did the Rabbanan say that the T'nai means dafke the coat and not anything else? Because there he wants to inflict pain upon her. So there, when he makes the condition, we take it in the most harshest way. He wants dafke the coat, nothing else. Here, the person is not making this condition because he's trying to inflict pain upon this worker of his. He needs the water. He needs the profit for the water for his field. And now that the rain came, and as I mentioned before, his mazel, he could say it's his mazel that the rain came, so the rain is here. So therefore, the condition is fulfilled. Therefore, he gets paid the full price, the full percentage that they made up in the beginning.